Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. I'm Brian, Mr. Smith. This is my kitchen. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Glad you stopped by. If you're returning to my channel, thank you for coming back. Means you're getting something out of what I have to say, talk about, cook, bake, whatever. But you're finding some interest in it at any rate. If you are new to my channel, we do lots of different things around here. I'm basically just documenting my life. Most of the time on Wednesdays in the evenings, we cook dinner together. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time it's something new that I've never tried before. And on Thursdays we bake, Tuesdays we talk about anything, but we also do just a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, have a good time with it. And while I'm thinking about it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. You can hit the notification bell right beside it if you so desire. That way, you know when my videos come out. Like I said, I normally try to put them out Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, but we do have a family of 4 in the house, total family of 6. Things do go a little crazy. As a lot of you know, we've been moving. Now we've been unpacking. So it's a little strenuous. Matter of fact, yesterday's video came out this morning because I just did not get a chance to do it. Between working full-time and trying to put stuff away here at the house where we just moved, hasn't happened. Comments are always appreciated. Matter of fact, they're encouraged. All I ask is that you keep them respectful. They can be your opinion, good, bad, or indifferent. Just be respectful and thoughtful as you put them in. Our community is just all age groups, all backgrounds. You know, hey, pick a subject, it's here. And we try to be respectful. We're a tight-knit, kind of loving community. We like to keep it that way. We're at least a respectful community. So anyhow, tonight for dinner, if you saw this morning's video, you know is going to be a cheesy potato and broccoli soup. Really easy soup to make. Very quick, very filling, very hearty. I don't cook a lot of healthy. This could even be a vegetarian dish, because even though it's cheesy, you know, it's Velveeta cheese. So, you know, the Velveeta that's in it's not really, it's a cheese-like product, you know, at any rate. But that's what we're going to have. I still haven't decided what we're going to bake for tomorrow. Tomorrow in our area, well, most of Central Ohio is trick-or-treat. Not all of Central Ohio, but most of it. And so it's going to be a little hard to bake, even though normally Thursdays are my day off. I will be at work for a couple hours. It's also water change day, baking day. Like I said, we got trick-or-treat thrown in there. So, but I will do my best to get something out at any rate. It may just be a video of Abby and Sarah trick-or-treating. Well, Sarah passing out candy and Abby trick-or-treating. It's hard to say, but there will be a video of some sort tomorrow at any rate. I hope to bake, though. Like I said earlier, I have yet to bake in this oven in my last video, and I would like to give it a shot, see how it works, and share it with you. So anyhow, tonight, cheesy potato and broccoli soup. The ingredients list is real easy. I've made this before. The original recipe is just a cheesy potato soup. We added the broccoli into it by Kent Rollins, who has a YouTube channel. He is a major league cook, you know, all the way around. He's been on TV shows. He's been on morning news shows. He has a YouTube channel. He's really, really just, he's kind of for as far as cooking goes, an idol for me. He makes a lot of stuff that I've tried, you know, that we've made, and I have yet to have anything that's bad that he's created or made a variation of. So anyhow, this started out as his. Now I've added, you know, different things at different times to it, but I will let you know anything that I added to it in case you want to try his recipe. So let's go over the recipe list. It's not hard at all. Like I said, let me bring you down here so you can actually see the ingredients. It goes a lot easier that way, I think. And I mean, it literally only has like 8 ingredients. So the first thing we're going to start out with is the original recipe calls for 6 large russet potatoes. Now, I don't have any russet potatoes, but I do have red potatoes, and I know they'll work. I think red potatoes are easier. with red potatoes, we keep the skin on them. They're a thin skin, unlike a russet potato, which has a thicker skin, and that you'd want to peel off. But the skin has a lot of the nutrients in it that you want. So we eat red potatoes. Very rarely do I even have russets in the house, so that's what I'm using for mine. If there's a potato you like, use it. The next thing we're going to need is 1 large yellow onion diced. Now, if you don't have a large yellow onion, say you buy like the little 5-pound bags of onions, those aren't large onions. Use 2. Right there's 2 of them, and that's the equivalent of 1 large onion. You will need 5 cups of milk. Now, here's where I deviate from his a little bit. I'm using 4 cups of milk, and then I'm going to use a cup of chicken broth. I like that in there. If I'm sure you could use an almond milk for this. Also, I'm not really knowledgeable on a lot of the vegetarian and vegan alternatives, but I would almost lay odds you could use an almond milk for this, or a milk substitute for that matter, to make this with. You also need 1 stick of butter, and you want to cut that into chunks. Right there, stick of butter. And the reason why you want to cut it into chunks is so it melts faster. You will need 1 pound of Velveeta cheese cut into chunks also. This is actually 2 pounds. We have found it works just as good with 2 pounds, and it makes it cheesier, in my opinion. You will need some salt and pepper to taste. Salt and pepper to taste. You'll need 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. And I also add broccoli. So I'm going to put just 2 bags of frozen broccoli pieces in it. If you want to use fresh broccoli, you can. It's really easy. But that's literally all the ingredients right there. I mean, that's it. It's a quick, easy meal. It took me maybe 5 minutes to cut up the potatoes, the onions, and chunk up the cheese and the butter. That's all the prep time I have into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our potatoes, we're going to turn our burner on, and we want to parboil these potatoes. Okay, so we're going to put them in our water. I got a pot of water. That's really the only piece of equipment you'll need. You don't necessarily need all of these bowls. You would need a measuring cup and a big pot. So measuring cup for the liquids, pot to boil your potatoes in and make your soup in when we're done. Other than that, you can cut everything up on a cutting board and be done. I just put my stuff in bowls so that way I can show it to you. All right, well, I'm going to bring these up to a boil. I'm going to boil them for about 5 to 10 minutes. We want them to be fork tender. And then when we come back, we'll move on to the next steps. All right, see you here in a sec. All right, we got our potatoes boiled to their fork tender, and now we're going to drain them out. So I'm just pouring them into a colander. So that way we get the water out of them. And here in a second, well, let's just get these drained. I'll show you what I mean by fork tender. All right, there's that. And we just go ahead and put the pot back on the stove. I did turn the stove off though. Let me shut the door so the neighbor's dog doesn't bark so much. He's a barker. He's cool though, but he's a barker. Much like Sam is, our dog. Alright, so fork tender is as follows. Sorry for all the steam. But if you see this potato here, I should be able to easily stick my fork into it. You don't want it to go much past that because it's going to keep cooking a little bit in the pot when we put them back in, which is going to be here in a second. But if you boil them too long, you'll end up with mashed potatoes. You don't want mashed potatoes. I mean, you may want mashed potatoes, but I don't know how good that would taste in a soup. So we've got them strained, nice and steamy. Using the colander, we're just going to pour them right back in there. Just like such. I know, weird, huh? Well, not really. There's a purpose. All right, so now we're going to take our 4 cups of milk. We're going to pour it in there. Now remember, if you're not using chicken broth, you want to use 5 cups of milk. And then we're going to take our chicken broth. Now, I did not mention at the beginning, how big to chop up your potatoes. And that's because it would be whatever size you like. You could cut them up in really small chunks, really small cubes. You can do them like I did, a little bigger, a little smaller. Mine are about 1 inch-ish of in size. There's so many variables to what you can do to this. All right, so we'll turn our burner back on, about medium to medium high. We're going to add our onions. Same way with the onions, whatever size you like. Mine are, a large dice. Not really chop, but not really fine diced. And we're going to add our butter. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let this go until the butter melts. Okay? I mean, it's just that quick and easy. You don't really need a pot this big. It's just the only pot I had right here. I've been making more applesauce today. On top of cleaning, working in the garage this morning, getting stuff put away, which I'm going to go back out there tonight and do some more. I also managed to process some water bath canning on some more applesauce. And I've almost gotten through. I got 8.5 more quarts done today of applesauce, and I've got about, I don't know, maybe 9-10 more quarts to go, and then I'll be out of apples to do applesauce with. Then I can move on to doing apple slices. So the world never stops, that's for sure. All right, so we're gonna let this go until the butter melts, and then we'll move on to the next step. So the butter's melted. That took all of like 2 minutes. Now we just have to add our cheese. Like I said, I chunked it up, and the original recipe only calls for half the block. It's 1 pound of Velveeta, but we have consistently used the entire block, or 2 pounds of Velveeta, and every time we've ever made this. And we've made this quite a few times. I'll make it at least a couple times, 2 to 3 times throughout the winter. But when I make it, normally I make enough that I can freeze a couple meals worth. So even though this meal may cost, the expensive part being the Velveeta, maybe $12, $13 to make. Well, if I make a double batch, which is what I usually make, and the next time I make this, I will. This might cost about $20 or $30 to make, but it will feed a family of 4 for close to 4 meals. All right, well, okay, hold on. Let me go answer my door, and I'll be right back, and we'll continue on. Okay, I'm back. That was Sarah coming home from her after-school program. So we got the Velveeta in there, which is really easy. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to add in our 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. We're going to add in, I'm going to say, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt, just to start with. It's salt and pepper to taste, so it'll be whatever your taste desires. And almost everything I start out with a 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon of salt when it comes to soups and stews, because you're making a lot. So, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. We like a lot of pepper in ours. Yes, I am making cheesy broccoli potato soup. And then we're gonna let this melt down. I know you're thinking, Brian, you didn't put the broccoli in yet. And I'm not going to quite yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cheese melt down. And then once the cheese melts down, then we'll add the broccoli. And then you're only 5 minutes away from, what? Let's live on the edge. Let's add the broccoli in now. Why not? Let me find a pair of scissors. We'll use the kid-friendly safety scissors, because that's what's on top of the fridge, and being safe, kid or not, is always a plus positive. So we can go ahead and put the broccoli in now. Now, like I said, you can use fresh broccoli, frozen broccoli is always in season. And I don't think I actually saw any fresh broccoli at the grocery store. Like we talked about in the video this morning, yeah, trying to get things at the store on the regular is kind of not on the regular anymore. Because of supply and demand and transportation issues and things like that. All right, well, I'm going to let this cook till the cheese melts, which is going to take about 10 minutes or so, and then once everything's melted and looking decent, the broccoli's warmed up, which will take about the same amount of time it'll take the cheese to melt. We'll come back and take a look at it and try it. All right, see you in just 1 second. So we got the cheese to melt, and we are in really good shape. So I can bring this over to you real quick. Yeah. Hold on, let me bring it down some. I really want to show you the pot. There is our pot right there with all our cheesy goodness. So what we're going to do now, we're going to put it in a bowl and give it a shot. I can already tell you it's going to be good. Well, actually, I'm going to taste it for salt and pepper first. I guess baby steps would be a good thing, so to speak. So, although we've made this enough to know, I know a quarter teaspoon of each, or a half a teaspoon of each, is more than fair game for the salt and pepper for our liking. But, I mean, we'll taste it anyhow, just to make sure. And it is. Hands down. That's good stuff. So let's go ahead and get a ladle to get our soup out with. And you may hear Abby in there bossing Sarah around. She's really good at bossing. She's a professional bosser. That's what she does. Get some potatoes in there and some broccoli. Now, here is our soup. So you can get a little better look of it out of the pot there. And I can tell you, this stuff is, with the Velveeta and the milk, makes it super creamy. It is definitely a hit in our household. So, let's give her a shot with some potatoes, some onions, some broccoli. And we'll see how she goes here. I know I got everybody waiting on the sideline here so they can get dinner. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's really good. It's really good.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Can I have mine now?
So, we're going to have this with just bread. It's just soup and bread. But it is a hearty soup, so it's going to fill you up. Man, some of us are talking here. So, anyhow, try this. Let me know what you think, because I think it's outstanding. It's one of the better soups that I like. I'm not even a huge fan of most cheese soups, but this one's really good. So give it a shot. Let me know what you think. If you like it, let me know down in the comments. If you don't like it, let me know down in the comments. If there's something you would do different, or you try it and there is something you did different, let me know. I love options. This one's packed full of them. I'm going to go let these lovely people get their food so we can sit down and have dinner together. And tomorrow, like I said, don't know for sure what we're baking yet, but I'll figure something out. Always on the fly. Always. Family life. So, I love you. I love you very much. Tell somebody else you love them and you love them very much. It's going to make their day a whole lot better. It's going to make you feel a whole lot better. And it makes me feel better to tell you. All right? Until tomorrow, love you. Talk to you later. Bye.